Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott Selections here for Sunday, August 4th. Before we get into the play of the day, we'll quickly recap what happened yesterday. Unfortunately, we picked up a loss with Taylor Fritz minus 2 games against Diego Schwartzman. He had a lot of chance in the first set. He was up a break early. He was up 3-1, I believe, 4-1, I think. Then he got broken back. Then he had triple set point up 6-5 in the first set, and he ended up not capitalizing on any of them. And then he fell apart in the second set, and Schwartzman was able to win. It's unfortunate because of the fact that the leans for yesterday were actually very solid. And if you ended up backing any of our UFC leans, we ended up going 2-0 in those at both fighters at plus prices, with Nechescu and Mickey Gall getting the job done at plus 104 and plus 105. So apologies on the play of the day, but the leans itself I thought were pretty solid, and hopefully you were able to cash on those. In terms of today's card, to be completely honest with you, I'm not really a fan of anything. However, I know a lot of you have expressed some displeasure with me just giving out leans, and you'd want some type of play today. So with that being the case, I will be giving out a play of the day for a tennis match that will be taking place on Monday, and then I will be having another video tomorrow where I will be covering something else. So that way you end up getting another play of the day, and I don't have to force it on a betting card that I'm not exactly thrilled with. So the tennis match that we are actually going to be looking at is going to be between Marco Cecchinato and Diego Schwartzman. I know that we just bet against Schwartzman and lost yesterday. However, in this match, I do like Schwartzman to get the job done at minus 4.5 games, which is available at minus 114 at Bet Online, and that will be the line that we are using. As we go in Vegas, thanks for joining us. In terms of this match, it's very simple. Cecchinato is a clay court specialist, and he pretty much possesses no threat whatsoever on any of the other surfaces. Cecchinato has not played a hard court match since the middle of March, where I ended up losing to Goffin in the Miami Masters. Meanwhile, Schwartzman did just win in Los Cabos, as he only dropped one set in the entire tournament, and he ended up having to beat Fritz and Guido Pella and some other people. And simply put, he also has more experience on this individual tournament. Montreal, it's a little bit on the slower side in terms of hard courts, but at the same point, he was in Montreal last year, and or 2 years ago, I should say, and he was able to make it past the first 3 rounds, as he was able to win in those first 3 rounds before losing to Robin Haase in the 4th round, where Cecchinato has never been in this tournament whatsoever, and he has not played on a hard court match and a hard court surface since March, as he's been playing clay courts for the last couple of weeks, and those have not been going well for him either, as if you've looked at Cechinato's record, he has not won a match in his last 8 matches. He's 0-8, and in his last 6 hardcore outdoor matches, he is 0-6, where Schwartzman is coming off of a title. You might wonder if fatigue will play a factor here, but I really don't think it will. Schwartzman played, in my opinion, the best tennis match of his career on Sunday, and I definitely think that he will be up to the task against Cecchinato, and I think he should be able to win in straight sets relatively easily. I do like straight sets more, but at the same point, that is a roughly minus 170 on Bovada. Whereas if you get the Bet Online at minus 4.5, you get it at minus 114. And I think that is definitely a great price. And I recommend you taking that now, as I expect money to come in on Diego Schwartzman in this match right before the first serve. But in terms of this match also, I was a little bit critical of Schwartzman serving yesterday, and that was the main reason why I liked Fritz. However, Schwartzman did do a pretty solid job serving. He won 67% of his first serve points. He won 59% of his second serve points. The thing is that Cecchinato cannot serve either, and I simply think that Schwartzman will be able to get the best of the majority of the rallies between these two, as Schwartzman is definitely a more powerful player behind the baseline, and Cecchinato just tries to get it over the net. Plus, Schwartzman has played Cecchinato 3 times on Cechinato's best surface, and Schwartzman has won 2 out of those 3 matches. So just something to keep in mind. But in terms of the play of the day, it will be on Schwartzman minus 4.5 against Cecchinato, and that match will be taking place on Monday at roughly noon. Now, in terms of some leans, I'm going to get these out of the way quickly. I like the Toronto team total over again against the Orioles. That is in roughly 10 minutes. But you got Yacobonis leading into Eshelman, and both those pitchers are not any good. Lean to the Blue Jays team total over on that one. Moving towards the no-score first inning between the Reds and the Braves. at plus 105 on 5 dimes. Gray and Tehran have been great since the All-Star break. They've been very solid this season. And I know that both lineups have a threat to potentially score early, but at plus 105, there's way too much value with the current pitchers on the mound. Quick question from Vegas here. Do I like any of the team total overs? Just to look through those, the Astros, the Yankees, and the Indians. Let me look at those briefly. The Astros are facing Tuivalala. In terms of that, I will lean to the Astros over again. No reason why I shouldn't. I mean, I know that they threw a combined no-hitter yesterday, but they did score a decent amount of runs. They've been killing the Mariners so far this series. I think the Mariners have pretty much accepted the fact that they're going to get destroyed today, and I will lean to the Astros team total over. In terms of the Indians team total over, which I will look at right now. Let me just find the matchup there. I don't really like the Indians team total over there. Barria has actually been okay in his last couple of starts. I know Bieber's been great so far this season. I think that he will do well. But in terms of what do I like the team total over, I think you're asking for a decent amount of runs. Vegas, if you want something a little bit better in terms of price, a little bit riskier, if you take the Indians to score first, they're roughly minus 115 or minus 120 on 5 dimes. I think you definitely get a better price out of that. I think that the team total itself will be pretty high because of the fact that Bieber, they're going to assume, will hold the Angels to roughly 4 or 3 runs. So I think that you're laying a decent number there, and I think that number is a little bit too high. So I will tell you that I don't really like the Indians team total over. The Yankees one, I have to like the over there. The Red Sox have been pitching terribly. They've absolutely fallen apart the last week, and Price has terrible numbers against the Yankees in his career. I know that most of his awful numbers have come against Gary Sanchez, who is known as the David Price killer, who is not in the lineup, who's currently injured. But the Yankees swept the doubleheader. They won the game on Friday, and I definitely would back the Yankees here. I don't like J.A. Happ, but I do think that Price will struggle, and I do not trust that the Boston bullpen either. So I will lean to the over in the team total on that one. In terms of some of the other leans I like, I will lean to the Giants beating the Rockies. I know Beatty's had bad numbers against the Rockies, but Freeland is terrible, and there's no way that Freeland should be laying minus 125. Doesn't make any sense to me. It might seem like a trap play, and it could be, but at that point, I think there's too much value on San Francisco, so I will lean to the Giants in that one. Moving on, looking through the rest of the card real quick. I lean to no score first inning in the Marlins and the Rays game. I know Chirinos did not pitch well in his last start, but he's still a solid pitcher overall. And Caleb Smith, even though the Marlins have been awful this season, Caleb Smith has been a steady ace in that rotation, and I definitely think that you will see runs come at a premium in that game. So I will lean to the no score first inning in that one, which is at roughly minus 110 to minus 115, depending on where you shop. But I like the no score first inning in the Marlins game. And other than that, though, play of the day will be on Diego Schwartzman, minus 4.5 games, and that is at minus 114 at BetOnline. Before we conclude today's video, quick reminder for sponsor PointsBet, All-In Sportsbook in New Jersey, a couple of great deals for you. Up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000. So if you end up betting on any sport and you end up losing, you simply get your money back, which is a great deal. Quick announcement also before I go, I will be doing a crossover thing with Scott Steen from Winners and Winers later today, where we will be giving out our NFL futures and what we like in store for the NFL season. So stay tuned for that. We still have to work out some of the editing software stuff, but as soon as that comes out, I will let all of you know, and then all of you can see what both of us are going to look to bet in the futures market for the NFL. Other than that, though, that's going to do it for this installment of Scott Selections here for Sunday, August 4th, and good luck to all of you in your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.